Hello, my name is Izzy, and I'm going to talk to you about how I took my previous UCAT score, which was 2,490 to 2,940. So, technically, just swapping the two middle numbers. And I think I had band 2 last time, and then I still got band 2 anyway. But yeah, that is a decent SJT score, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's get into it. So one significant difference that I think has helped me or contributed to me getting this new score was I had used a different platform preparing for the UCAT. It's a competing platform with MedEntry, but I don't think I can name it for legal reasons, or I'm not here to downplay or disregard others and undermine anyone, so I'm not going to get into which platform it is. But it's popular. I mean, people can probably guess what one it is. Anyway, so what did I do differently? So this time round, when I prepared for the UCAT, I did many more mock exams and way more practice. I gave myself 8 weeks to prepare for the real UCAT test. I think last time I gave myself around the same time, but I was a lot more relaxed and chill about it because I didn't have high ambition at the time, or I did not realize the importance of getting a really high UCAT score. I thought getting, an average score would be enough to get me in, but I realized the medical unis I actually want to go to, you need to get a good UCAT score. So what sets out MedEntry apart from other competing platforms? Well, they are not just about getting a good UCAT score. They are about getting into medicine in general, overall, because as the title says, it's med entry, it's entry to medicine. And there's more factors apart from the UCAT that you will require to get into a medical school. And they take that into account. They even list out different universities and other kinds of tests, admission tests you'll need to get in. And they also lay out their grade and entry requirements, so they are very useful for sorting all of that, kind of tiresome research out for you. Now, onto the platform itself. They have about 20 mock exams, including a diagnostics exam, and plenty of subtest mocks and a lot of solo practice questions. So they really do have a lot of available resources for you to practice and to improve your skills. Now, I have to say, I'm really impressed with the explanations that MedEntry gives for the exam for their exam questions. In fact, every practice question comes with an explanation. And they also have skill trainers on the side that you could use to improve the key elements that you need. I was really struggling with quantitative reasoning, but then I mentally could not cope with all of that data that I was seeing. Then I used the graph reader trainer, and that actually helped me understand and get out of that basic 400 to 500 score and took me up to the 600s. I mean, quantitative reasoning was my weakest subsection anyway, but sometimes I would score like 700 in a mock and I'd be like, oh, okay, so I really can do this. And it just really helps to use the skill trainers. That the graph reader really helped me get out of that pitfall that I had. So I would say amazing explanation for answers, and mock difficulty wise, I do find that the MedEntry mocks were trickier than the real thing. And I think that's a very good thing because it kind of prepares you for the worst. And my score was higher than any score that I had gotten in a mock exam. So I was very delighted about that. So I do think that having a trickier mock exam overall really prepares you. It makes you ready for the different type of questions that you can expect to get. So what else would I like to say? Yeah, very good advice, an explanation, and great user interface. I would also like to add that the community on MedEntry are extremely helpful. I love that the admins, they respond to you very quickly. And Dr. Ray, who delivered his UCAT workshop, it actually is a useful workshop. He was very clear in his explanations. He explains in a way that makes it easy to understand the content, and you learn something new, basically. Um, he's also very charismatic, which is kind of important for people like me in terms of how teachers deliver. I'm someone who needs a lot of engagement and how should I say, mental stimulation in order to be able to learn something. I can't just read stuff and learn. Like, it's just, I need an interactive session to be able to learn things. So I really appreciate how interactive the session was, and it really helped me to learn properly what I'm doing. So that's why I recommend MedEntry. So now I want to get to my own test experience. Right. What people see when someone gets a high score is the score at the end. They're like, oh my god, wow, you got such a good score, you're so smart, blah, blah, blah. But what they don't see is the amount of hard work and stress and, in my case, tears behind that. I had 3 mental breakdowns and I cried like a lot before I took the actual test. But then on the day before the test, I had a very positive mindset about it because I had by that time done probably 14 mock exams. Not all of them were from MedEntry. I had done 10 mock exams from MedEntry and 4 of them from the official UCAT website. But yes, it's people don't see the crying and the strain and the sadness that goes into it. If you experience this at the moment while you're preparing for the test, it is absolutely normal, and it's okay to experience that. Panic, it's just something that comes, but that's not going to be a reason that your final result won't be good. If you feel like you're panicking, that's not a reason that you don't do well. You can panic and you can do amazingly. I'm not talking about the actual day. Oh no. I got some tips for that. So anyway, I did at certain times think there is no way in hell I can pass. Like, my med school journey is over. Forget about it. Yada yada yada. Anyway, well, yeah, the opposite ended up happening. So, what did I do specifically to overcome this? Well, I did what MedEntry told me. Keep going at it and do not damn give up. You have more to lose than you have to gain by giving up. And even when it comes to the real thing, that's something else that I will get into. So MedEntry gives you a nice little icon at the top of the mock exam which says, disappointed in your score? Click on it and read it and you will know what to do, because I can't stress enough, I've been in your position, many other people have been in your position, people who've scored higher than me have been in my position, or the position of thinking, oh no, I can't do anything, I'm gonna fail. And they've gotten like 3,000 plus mental scores because they did not give up. Doctors and dentists and veterinary sciences, okay, they don't need the UCAT, but whatever. They don't give up. That's why they're there, and you really can do it. However, how? The little technique behind actually improving your score? Don't just shove mocks down your throat. Give yourself ample time to prepare, and during this ample time, review your mocks. I can't stress to you how much you need to review and know why you're going wrong. This is why I go back to the point where MedEntry's explanations are so amazing. They genuinely tell you why it's wrong, and you can also communicate to them if you disagree with something. You can report a question, and you can kind of reach. When I say argue, I don't say it in like an aggressive tone, but you can discuss a question with them, and they will kind of use the official exam resource and the way They know how the UCAT consortium thinks. Yeah, as I said, like very similar exams to the real thing, and it prepares you well. It's really trustworthy as a source of reliable preparation. Okay, now I think I will get on to my actual testing experience and what I did the lead up before test day. So, after using MedEntry's platform, I decided to use the official UCAT tests. And actually, I did the first 3 tests, A, B, and C, during the time I was using the MedEntry platform. And then I decided to just do practice test. I think my last test before I did practice test D, and I'll tell you about how I did this test. I think my score was like 2,700 and something, I think. But it was when my scores on MedEntry mock exams, I got some tests I got 2,600, some tests I got 2,800, but nothing above 2,900, and then I ended up scoring more than that on my test day. What I did after my final mock test on MedEntry, I decided, right, since I am someone who gets stressed easily, I don't want to get a score and then panic and be sad and scared and doubt myself. So I decided, and how importantly I stress this is to make sure you know why the answer is correct, or your mental way of thinking that will get you the right marks. I decided to do practice test D 2 days before the exam. I did it untimed. And just to make sure that what I am doing anyway is correct, because if you can't get enough answers correct untimed, how on earth are you supposed to really do it timed without just guessing? So that is what I did, and a lot of people say, "Oh, take a break day off before your test." Now that works for some people, or maybe most, but that did not work for me. Do what works for you. Okay, if you, I need to be kept on being reminded of what I need to do. So doing still work a day before the exam, it was helpful for me. So if that feels right for you, then do it. If it makes you feel less nervous for the day after, do it. Don't take the day off just because someone else did and they scored well. We must do what works for you. So I didn't take the way off. However, one thing I did do to avoid UCAT burnout, because that is a real thing, the week before the test, I took 3 days off. But then that was after a period of probably 7 weeks of studying. So I did that. It benefited me. I stopped feeling, dreary and tired and fed up. I just when I headed off into that exam, the morning I did it, I felt like, yeah, this is the best I ever want to score, and I will do it. Okay, now test day. What did I do on the day? So I was looking forward to the exam. I had a very positive mindset because I had done so much practice. I knew that there was nothing more that I could do to improve. All you can do is give it your best. So I turned up there with a very positive mindset, and the clerk at the desk, took me to my testing booth. I went through all the security checks and the procedures. Now, dealing with nerves. You are going to be nervous no matter what. Oh, just before I get into that test, make sure to eat. Your brain is going to be burning calories as you think, because you're going to need a lot of energy. It's like running a marathon, basically. It's a mental marathon. So yeah, make sure to eat. Don't let yourself starve or whatever. Have a nice 1,000-calorie meal at least 2 hours before your test. It'll benefit you. Trust me. You're not even gonna feel. You will feel like you're hungry. You won't feel devastatingly full. Anyway, well, I sat at the testing booth. Back to the testing booth. Right. So I sat down, my heart was beating fast, really still there, and I was like, okay, finally. Now, stop. Don't press begin the exam yet. Let yourself calm down. It's okay to feel the nerves. just let them be there and let them disappear. Let yourself take time, take the deep breaths, cool down. The test staff are not going to kick you out and say, "Oi, start the test." They're not going to do that. They're going to let you take your time. In fact, once I was in there, no one really paid attention to me. It was just me and the computer. No one's going to disturb. I had my earplugs in. So take your sweet time in letting the nerves disappear. That will really benefit you for when you start your exam. And then when my nerves disappeared, I was like, okay, when you're ready to begin the exam, select yes. And I was like, yep, let's do it. Very positive mindset, extremely important. The exam starts, and already I'm feeling a little bit of, and my heart's beating when you don't immediately get the question. Just flag and skip. If you start off with a very difficult verbal reasoning question, guess, flag, and skip. That's a technique you will always need to do throughout every section. Guess, flag, and skip. Don't forget about it. Also, if there's anything you want to write down about things to remember for the abstract reasoning, or your formulas for quantitative reasoning, I highly recommend that you write it down in the 4 minutes that you get before your exam even starts. So when you're having your 1 minute break between subsections, you fully enjoy that break and you don't spend it thinking about other things and other sections and stuff. You just have a small break and prepare yourself for the section that you're going to do next. Okay, so yeah, I used the guess, flag, and skip technique in verbal reasoning. I managed to finish and have time to come back to it, and then I could change some answers. Was very happy with that. Next section was decision making. Now, all I'm going to say is how much I stress don't give up. After I completed that section, I thought I did quite average in it, but then I did not let that bog me down because that ended up being my highest scoring section of 800. So I decided to keep. I just remember that the UCAT exam tells you, and everyone stresses, you might think you've done bad, but you've probably done better than you think. You might have done worse too, but you do not know that, so do not let it bog you down. Anyway, next subsection, QR. This was my worst subsection. I did not enjoy doing it at all when I was practicing, but I was like, oh well, it is what it is. It's a part of life. Just get on with it, man. Also, I wanted to say, that's something I forgot, but I'll come back to it. Anyway, complete that section. Do your best. If you have to guess, you have to guess. I had to guess in the last minute of QR. I was running out of time. Oh well, but I filled in a space for every answer, and the score was okay. It didn't fully drag me down though. It was 660, so maybe a bit under the average or a bit under the highest scoring average. I don't know, but it was fine. Anyway, that section was out of the way. I was very, very glad it was over and done with. Abstract reasoning, got onto it. That section went pretty well. I managed to finish at the end and then come back to a few questions. That one, I would say, lots of people say it's the easiest one to, work with and get high scores on and to work on during the mock exams. I do fully agree with that. I have gotten better scores than what I had got on that subsection, but it was a good score, so I was happy. And then I was a bit tired after abstract reasoning. At this point, I was thinking, maybe QR and DM might bring my score down. Maybe I got 2,600, 2,700, and then I moved on to the situational judgment. Still deciding, okay, I'm still going to give this subsection my best shot, and despite feeling very tired, you're much more relaxed on the time section, so I did allow myself to take some mental breaks, but then I did finish all of the questions in time. And another thing, Dr. Ray really helped me with the right mindset for this subsection in his UCAT tutorial as well, so thank you very much for that. And my last note I want to give you is each UCAT test itself is different. When people talk to you about the difficulty of the test, when I experienced it, my structure was like this. easy verbal reasoning section compared to what others were telling me about what they got. Other people were telling me they had to scroll down. I didn't have to scroll down any of my any of my passages on verbal reasoning. I found different decision making and of medium difficulty. I found quantitative reasoning of higher difficulty. A lot of people were saying, "Oh my god, my quantitative reasoning was so easy." It was like basic maths. I didn't feel that way about mine. I feel like the explanation of the information, what they wanted, was worded in weird ways. I found it to be actually equivalent to the level of difficulty on MedEntry. So yeah, I do think that the each individual test itself, I think it follows a structure of one subtest is going to be significantly trickier than the others, and then another subtest is going to be significantly easier than the others. I don't know if which one I would say I found significantly easier. I would say my abstract reasoning was pretty decent. I felt like I did well on it when I did it, or like at least, okay to above average. Maybe that was my easiest section like that. I felt that way. It wasn't my highest scoring, but I felt like it wasn't difficult at all. But then I've heard the complete opposite from other people. They're telling me that verbal reasoning was great, abstract reasoning was awful, so you don't know the difficulty of your UCAT exam. You can't say that, oh, you'll definitely get a really easy section on this, and then that section will be over. Everyone's test experience is completely different, because there are 5 different tests that are actually distributed, to avoid any instance of cheating. I don't know how on earth you can cheat for that test. You have too little time to cheat, and none of them are revisable. Is that even a word? I don't know. But I would just like to say, you don't know what you're going to do. So really, really, the take-home message from all of this is never give up. And MedEntry is damn amazing. Just do what they tell you to. It's a really, really great platform. I have used competitive platforms as like other competing platforms before. I really feel like MedEntry is the best one I've ever used, and they are so reasonable with the price as well. Like, the other platforms I've used have been more expensive, and yeah, I got worse scores with them, so tech with them. So yeah, that is my experience with MedEntry and my advice on what to do on test day. Thank you for listening.